Hello all. In this video, we'll talk about two more basic commands of Git, that is remove command and then move command. So first we'll talk about remove command. As the name says, remove command removes files from repository, Git repository. So in a version control system, it tracks everything, right? Since Git is also a version control system, it tracks everything. It's not just when you add a file or when you modify a file. Even when you remove a file, also Git tracks that. So let's say I remove a file, some example.txt file from a repository. Git tracks that. Git records that on so and so date, this particular person has removed this file from the Git repository. Before to this file existed. Okay. So Git tracks even the removal part as well. So we'll run the git remove command for a file and then we'll see how it works. Okay, this is the e-commerce repository we were talking about, and if you run git status, we have added new file. Let us commit these things first. Okay, new example.txt file. Okay, I'm adding new example.txt file. Now let me run git status again. Now my working directory is clean. What I want to do is I want to remove example.txt file. Generally, if it is not a git in general on any folder, how you remove a file, you remove using remove command, right? Let me try that as well. Okay, first I'll try removing example.txt, because people might wonder why you need to run git remove command. You can just run remove command, right? When you run remove command, file gets removed. Why you need to use git remove command? So we'll see that. Now I'm just using remove command and then I'm clicking it. When I run ls, I don't see example.txt file in this folder. Okay, now I'll run git status. When I run git status, what it is showing? It is showing that you have deleted example.txt file. Now this is not staged. This change is not staged. Okay, so what it says is, like, even though you remove the file using remove command, git tracks that. You have to again stage your change and then commit your change. Okay, now let me stage this change. So to stage any change, I have to add git add, right? So what I'll do is I'll add git add example.txt. Okay, let me run git status now. So now this has moved to the staging area. This deleted file change has moved from working directory to the staging area. Okay. Now I'll commit this. Git commit -m deleted example.txt file. Okay. This is my commit message. When I run git status now, I don't see anything. Now let me run ls. So here you don't see example.txt, because git has recorded that this particular text file has been removed. You, even if you just use remove command, git tracks it. You have to commit the change that it is removed. Okay, now instead of using remove and then using this git add, we can directly use git remove command. So here what we have done, initially I have removed file using remove command, and then what I have done, when I run git status, that change is not staged. Okay, that change is not staged. So what I have done, I have added it to the staging area and then I have committed it. Remove the file, add it to the staging area that it is removed, and then I committed it. So instead of removing it using remove command and then adding it to the staging area, we can use git remove. Okay, instead of using two commands, directly you can use git remove command. So let me create example.txt file again. Okay, echo is used. I'm to create a new file. Here I'm creating example.txt. Now if I do ls, here I can see example.txt file. Before it was not there. I'll add it to the staging area. Okay, because this is a new file, right? I added example.txt file. Yeah. So, yeah. Example.txt file. Sorry. Now if I run git status, my working tree is clean, and when I do ls, my example.txt file is present. Now I am removing it, right? So what I'll do is git remove example.txt. Let me run git status. Now first we'll see whether example.txt is present in working directory or not. First I'll run ls. Here if you see, you don't see example.txt. Now I'll run git status. So here changes to be committed, which means this removal file change has moved to the staging area. So as I explained, if you do remove command, just remove example.txt and then do git add example.txt, it is equivalent to git remove command. So git remove command, what it does is it removes the file from the directory and then it stages that change. Now you just have to commit that change. Now I'll do git commit hyphen minus m deleted example.txt file. Okay. Let me run git status. You don't see anything. Your working directory is clean. When I run ls, I don't see anything because as soon as you ran git remove command, it removes the file. But it's just that you should commit the change so that that particular change would get recorded in the database. Okay. Now this is fine. Now, like this is a happy path scenario. You like if you delete a file, this you have to stage the change and then commit it. But sometimes what happen is I stage the change, like let's see version dot like git status. Let me do ls, and here if you see version difference dot txt, right, let me modify this file. Okay, this is my IntelliJ, and when you go to version.txt file, what I'll do is I'll modify the change. This is second line of git version difference. Okay, now let me run git status. Clear. If you see, I have modified the file. Okay, now this is already a tracked file, but I have modified it by, like, what I wanted to do is I wanted to delete version difference.txt file, but by mistake I modified the file. Now I want to remove it. So in this case, will git remove command works? Let me try. Git remove version difference.txt. You don't see it. It is not working. It's throwing error because the following file has local modifications. So git remove command will not work if you have modified the file. Okay, now I have modified the version different.txt file. It's not staged. Even if it is not staged or staged, if you modify a file and then if you try to remove, it won't work because it's a safety precaution, right? Like sometimes people modify the file and they try to accidentally delete it. So git should prevent doing that. That's why it's a safety feature of the git. Now git remove command throws error, but you clearly know that I have to remove this file. By mistake I have modified that. In that case, git gives you additional option. If you still I'm throwing you error because you have modified the file, I'm just reminding you that you have modified the file. Make sure that you make sure if you want to modify the file or not. If you are sure that you have to modify the file, you can use minus f, like hyphen f, to force the removal. Okay, so though git threw error, it will give you another option to removal, to force remove the file. Okay, now this file is already modified and git threw error. I'll remove the file using hyphen f. Okay, version.txt. Now this worked. Let me try ls. When I do ls, I don't see version difference.txt. Okay, let me try git status. Here the change is staged. Okay, so it works normally. First, it removed the file from the working directory and then it staged that change. When I commit it, it will remove from the, that change gets recorded. Okay. Deleted version difference.txt file. Sorry. Yeah, now when I run git status, I don't see anything. My working directory is clean, and when I run ls, I don't see here version difference.txt. So by mistake, if you modify the file and if you want to force remove it, you have to use -f. So this file was modified and it's still in working directory. Let's check for the file that is present in the staged area and you want to remove it. Let me try that. So what I'll do is I'll modify version.txt file now. Okay, where is this version.txt? Okay, I'll modify this. This is 8th line of version.txt. Let me run git status. If you see git status, version.txt file is removed and this particular change is not yet staged. Let me stage this. To stage, what command we have to use? Git add. Git add version.txt. Let me run git status. Here you have you have modified the file and you have staged that change. Now if I try removing the file, would it work or not? Let us see. Git remove version.txt. No, it did not work because you have modified the file and you staged the file. How can you remove it? If you still want to remove, you can again use -f. Okay, let me try using git remove -f. Version .-f states force removal. Let us run ls. If you see ls here, you don't see version.txt file here. And when I run git status, it says that you have deleted the file and your change is staged. Let me commit this. Git commit deleted version.txt file. Okay, now if I run git status, my working directory is clean. My working tree is clean. Okay, so if you modify the file, if it be like even if you stage the file or not stage the file, you have to do the force removal. Okay, now sometimes what happens is I have modified the change. Okay, like I have modified the file. I don't want those changes to get recorded in the repository, but I want the file to be present on the disk. Okay, let me explain that with another example. What I'll do is I'll create a new file here, version.txt. Okay, I have removed that, right? Let me create it again. This is first line of version.txt. Now what happens here is, let me run git status. So this is an untracked file. Let us make it tracked first. Git add, I'll commit this. Added version.txt file. Now clear. Let me modify this file. Okay, this is second line of version.txt. I just want to stage the change. Git status, git add. Okay, clear. Git status. Now what I wanted to, like, my intention was this version.txt file I have modified, right? I want these changes to be present in my directory. Okay, but I don't want git to track this. By mistake I staged the change, but I don't want git to record the change. If I do git remove, it deletes the file from my working directory as well. What git remove does is it removes the file from the working directory and then it records that the file got removed. But my intention was I don't want my file to get removed from my directory, but I don't want git to track my change also. By mistake I staged the change. I don't want git to stage the change, But if I use git remove command, it will remove the file. I don't want the file also to get removed. So in that case, git gives you another option called cached. Okay, if you do this cache, right, what it says is it won't track the changes. Okay, whatever changes you have added here, it won't track it. It will untrack those changes, but those changes are still present in your directory or in your hard disk. Let me try this. Git remove cached. Okay, now if I run git status, what will happen? It deleted the file. It actually deleted the file from git repository, but it won't remove the file from the working directory. If you see here, version.txt is still present. But whenever you run git remove command, what you used to see, you used to not see the file in your working directory because it used to remove. But here, if you see, version.txt file is still present in the working directory, but it is not present in the git repo. It gets removed from the git repository, not from the working directory. Okay, let me commit that change. Git commit mine -m deleted version.txt from repo. Now if I run git status, what it will see, uh, because it removes the file from the tracked file, right? Now it is removed from the tracked file. So it says as an untracked file. Here if you see, it says as an untracked file. Okay. Now what you can do is you can add this file to git ignore. So this particular scenario is mainly useful in the situation like this. Now initially I have tracked one file, I have modified the changes and I have pushed it to the git repository. But later on, what I found is I don't want my file, like later on what I found is I don't want this file to be tracked by git. In that case, you can simply add that file name to .git ignore file and that will work. Okay, but instead like even before adding it to git ignore, by mistake if you stage the file, then this particular scenario is used, like git remove hyphen hash cached is used. Like your file is tracked, you want that file to add it to the git ignore file, but even before adding it to git ignore file, by mistake you modified the file and you staged it. So in that case, you can, like if you do the git remove command, git stops tracking the file and then it makes your file as an untracked file. Now if I go and add this file name to git ignore, then it will not show up here as well. Okay, this is the scenario where this cached is used. Now we have done this for the staged one, right? What we have done, we have modified the file and then we have added to the staging area. Let us try for not staging area as well. Let's take a tracked file and then you modify it, don't stage it. Okay, then we'll see how it works. Okay, now if you do git status untracked file, okay, now what I'll do is I'll take the same file again. I'll do git add git status. Let me commit this. Added version clear git status. Now my working directory is clean. Let me change this version.txt file. This is third line. Now when I run git status, it is modified file. Now ideally I don't want this file to be tracked by git, but by mistake I modified it. Let me try git remove version.txt. As we knew it through it, like it will throw error. I'll try git remove cached version.txt. Git status. If you see here, when you say this file is removed from the git repository, but you still have your changes on your local. Okay, that's what this means. Okay, remove is used to remove from the git repository, but if you want your changes to be present on your local, you can use cache. Now I'll commit this change. Deleted version.txt. If I run git status, This will show as an untracked file. What I'll do is I'll go to my .git ignore. That's what my scenario was, right? Then I'll remove this. I have added version.txt to my git ignore. If I run git status now, okay, it is showing the .git ignore file is modified, but version.txt is removed from the untracked file. Okay, so this option is used here. Yeah. Now let's move to the another command, git move command. Okay. Now in general, move command is used to either change the file name or to move file from one directory to another directory. There are two use cases of this move command. Like if I have a file hi.txt and if I want to rename it to hello.txt, I can use move command. And one more thing is, let's say I have my hi.txt under A directory and I want to move it to B directory, then also I can use move command. These are the two use cases of the move command. Now, in Git repository, if you want to move a file, how it works, let's see. Here, if you see, you have this version.txt, git status, right? So, what I will do is, let us track version.txt again, okay? Now, let me run git status. Version.txt file is untracked. Let me add it to tracked file. Let me commit it. Added version.txt. If I run git status, my working tree is clean. Now I want to change my file name from version.txt to version difference.txt. Okay. Like if you don't know about Git, how you do, here if I do ls, version.txt is there. How you do, you will do move version.txt. This is the old file name. First argument is the old file name and the second argument is the new file name. Let me run ls. If you see ls, version.txt got renamed to version difference.txt. Okay, let me run git status. So git is so clever, okay? Even you did not inform git that you are moving the file, you are renaming the file, but still git identified that you have renamed file from version.txt to version difference.txt. So how git considers that is, it considers that you have removed old file version.txt and then you have added new file version difference.txt. That's what is represented here. You have deleted old file version.txt and then you have added it version difference.txt. Let me add, okay, because now you have done some change and you have to move this to the staging area. Okay, git add version.txt. Let me run git status. So if you run git status here, what it does, it says that this deletion worked. Like you have deleted the file, but you have created the new file, right? That also you should track it. Okay, git add version difference.txt. Clear. Now if I run git status, what it shows, you have to commit it. You have renamed version.txt to version difference.txt. Git commit -m renamed version.txt to version difference.txt. Git if I run git status now, my working directory is clean, and if I run ls, my file is renamed. Now here what I have done, first I have used move command and then I have moved my changes from working directory to the staging area and then I have committed it. So here I can reduce the first two steps. Instead of using move command and git add command, I can use git move command. Now I want to rename version difference.txt to example.txt. So what I'll do is I'll add example.txt. Now if I run ls, here you don't see version difference.txt here. You can see example.txt. Okay. Let me run git status. If I run git status, what it showed, renamed file. So this is what we have seen before also, but there you have used two commands basically three commands, but here you're using a single command. Now if I commit it, then it will work. Okay, renamed version difference dot txt file to example dot txt file. Let me run git status. Okay, ls. So if you see example.txt file is used. So basically move command is used to rename file or change file or move file from one path to the other path. So move command is the combination of three commands. One is git move command is the combination of three commands, right? Because we have already seen. First one is move file 1 file 2. Like this is the command, right? So one more thing is git remove file 1 and then add file 1 file 2. So when you run this git move command, you like internally this will happen. First it will run move file 1 file 2. Like in git, what it assumes is it had removed, it assumes that file 1 is removed and file 2 got added. Okay, instead of running these three commands, you can just run a single command to rename a file or to move file from one part to the other part. Yeah, thank you.